If you look, you can see the Fibonacci sequence. Ooh, it's in the numbers of um, rows and seeds, and the spirals going left and the spirals go. I don't know. It's somewhere there. It's a sunflower. Hello. It's the beginning of September, and let's go look at the garden. We've had a fun season so far. Getting our produce, getting this nice bushiness. I'm thinking, I'm just gonna do that all the way up here. Rip out the hostas, and next year we'll start doing these every year. This tomato plant has so many tomatoes down under here. So many tomatoes, and none of them are good yet. Girls are back, playing with some sidewalk chalk. And here's our 1,000 head kales. These babies are about 3.5 foot, almost 4 foot tall now. And under here, we still have a bunch of Swiss chard, a couple beets. We had a bunch of different types of beets growing in here. There's a few still surviving. And I planted a little bit of amaranth, but I don't think there's enough time left in the season for it to really mature. But this spot, between the beets and the Swiss chard, those greens have been good to us all season. This mint plant, which really nothing but pollinators. I barely touched the mint this year. So our Jolly Jester marigolds next to the mint. And some rosemary back here. The one in the blue pot we're going to try bring inside. Back behind the rosemary, we got this passion flower here. Now, this passion flower has been growing more than that, but the other one has a cool surprise for us. Oh, morning glories. Look at these morning glories. Lots of blossoms up in the front fence of these morning glories. And directly next to them are these purple Italian pole beans. And this big mess of nasturtium and clover, and there's some purslane down there. Purslane will be a bigger crop next year. Look at all those nasturtium blossoms. You can see some leaves from a morning glory tangled in there. Here's some of our black carrots, and there's a sea kale growing up between that fake frog skeleton. Any good carrots? No good black carrots. Some basil, some red kale that we got later in the season. Oh, and there's this guy. This guy's cool. This is a hybrid orange coneflower. Soft orange coneflower. Ooh, soft orange. Bought that one at a store. Here's some mugwort and some volunteer sunflowers all around there. Oh, and look at this. There's the other passion flower. You only get 1 day of bloom on these. It just so happens today was the day. It's the only bloom we've gotten all season of passion flowers. Here's some Jerusalem artichokes planted in this planter. There's some purslane underneath of them. More volunteer sunflowers that the squirrels and birds have been eating. Been mutilating the sunflowers. This is the hummingbird mint. I believe that's the tango variety. On the other side, I believe this is the Apache sunset hummingbird mint. The hummingbirds love it, and you shake it up a little bit. It's very aromatic, somewhere between like licorice and mint, almost like gasoline. This whole corner back here is very aromatic. These bee balms are these spiky leaves in the front. She has this beautiful rose bush that's doing wonderful. surrounded by this Roman chamomile. It's a perennial creeping chamomile. And of course over here's the medicine circle. The lemon balm up in front. All doing very good for us. Going to be chopping out that calendula in the middle soon. Here's some things in pots that need to get planted up. There's our oregano bushes. They're doing really great this year. And the thyme next to the oregano. And the purple sage next to the thyme. They all were planted in last year. They're doing really good this year. Looking forward to them establishing themselves. I guess they're established already. Move the red clover over to this spot along with some nasturtium, just kind of let it do its thing. Of course, over here is the sage. This is the common sagebush. And all this in here is the ragged jack kale. These have been my primary lunch all season. This is a green amaranth, a Chinese green amaranth, with, of course, those iron crosses in the back. These guys are supposed to be broccolis, but we didn't see any broccoli this year at all. So I've been chopping up some of the leaves, doing stuff with them. Sunflowers, dwarf sunflowers. They stay short on the stalk. This is my morning glory cage. It's the only ones that grew in white this year. And then down here, we've got coleuses, those patches of color. And okras. These nice tall things here are the okras. Let's get down under the okra. Get a real feel for how big they are. These are just some coleus cuttings that I needed to transplant somewhere, so I stuck them in here. Down here's our okra. This is how tall these babies are. Really came out of good. These little spikes on them. Jen's been pretty on top of being out here harvesting everything she can. And we got some more of those purple Italian pole beans climbing up the porch there. And over here are the white knight eggplants. Once again, nothing ready to pick, but has some danglers. The amaranth. Can't wait. I think it's about another 5 or 6 weeks at most, and we can start harvesting the seeds off the amaranth. Tucked in down here next to the amaranth are our peppers, though. Spicy stuff on that side of the fence. I don't know if we can really see anything right there. Some okra in the front, and these are sweet banana peppers. Tons of them popping up late in the season now. Look at all those peppers. Back to the amaranth. Look at these spikes. Fun, fuzzy spikes. And fun, fuzzy, droopy dreadlocks. Oh, there's some chives down there. I guess that's important. But these are more important. This is a volunteer evening primrose. I chopped the main stalk off of that one recently. Down here, that's our first honeyberry bush. So all this stuff around is going to be chopped back. Oh, look at the pretty peas. Pretty peas. I like those splashes of color that the pea blossoms offer. Up there, decorating the fence behind our potato buckets. So the last 4 potato buckets. And the pickle bush. Look at the little pickle. couple of these pickle bushes around. That's a tomato bush. That's a big tomato bush. And here's some purple basil. And we got our Daikon radishes that are kind of hiding everything behind. Mix of stuff that's green and growing back here. More peas with the pretty flowers on the top. It's kind of just like a little mess. That's got sense to it. And this is all Uzbek golden carrots. Jen's been on top of harvesting these too, but they're delicious. They've been doing good. More tomatoes. Look at these tomatoes. They're awesome. They're black and tie-dyed and then our strawberries are down here around the gnome. Next year, no tomatoes, just strawberries in this bed. Let the strawberries really... Look at the mushrooms. Let the strawberries really shine without the tomatoes in the way. Tomato, tomato, tomato bush. There's another one of those pickle bushes. Got them wrapped up sunflower stalks. Bright coleus, a little maple, and there's the other honeyberry bush. So between the two of them, I'm hoping we can start getting some growth, some honeyberries. That's the understory there to a little sunflower patch. Most of the big sunflowers are gone. This is the last big sunflower head. Lots of little sunflowers. The goldfinches and the squirrels killed the sunflowers. Calendula. Some pole beans. Some basil. Haven't seen a single pole bean on here yet. But it's early yet. We only planted them a few weeks ago. This is it. This is the spot where we spend the time. This is the oasis. A little paradise in the backyard. And the nasturtium are thinning out, partially from my own design. Big King Coleus back here is doing good. There's some Brandywine tomatoes hiding on the other side of the fence. They're doing good. The fence is doing good. Roses Sharon are in full regular bloom. Check out our watermelon. I'm hoping the rubber bands will work well enough to hold it into place. They probably won't. And tons of tomatoes. Some coleus back there, of course. But tomatoes and tomatoes and more tomatoes and more tomatoes and more tomatoes and more tomatoes. There in the pot? Yeah, it's a separate tomato. Tomato. And the fence. Rose of Sharon blossoms. Beautiful, delicious Rose of Sharon blossoms. Full of vitamin C. And there's a pink morning glory. I didn't even notice we had those back here. Huh. They blend in. And they look pretty cool. Oh, and that's the back fence. And that's the tour for the month. Thanks for coming out. Thanks for liking, subscribing and stuff. And peace out, Fish Chop.